Ian O'Neill for Severe MMA, and today I'm delighted to be joined by UFC bantamweight fighter Tony Gravely ahead of his fight next Saturday night against Nate Maness. Tony, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome back to Severe MMA. It's a pleasure to talk to you again.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, no problem at all, Tony. You were before we look ahead into your fight with Nate Maness. We'll take a brief look back again at your last fight. You were on to speak with us ahead of your last fight against Anthony Birchek, a fight which you won by second round knockout. I mean, when you look back at that fight yourself, were you happy with your performance? Happy how everything went down?
Yeah, I was happy. It's one of those things where you see the progression in the gym, and just to have that progression play out in a fight, it feels really good. I know what I'm capable of and how well my striking is and my grappling, everything I do is in the gym. So just to mirror that in a fight, that's what it's all about, is being able to do everything you do every single day in the fight. And I was just happy that was able to work out that way.
Awesome. And that left hook that you did land, was that something that you had been working on, or was it something that you just spotted during the fight?
I work on all my punches, everybody throws but everybody throws, the straights and hooks, but we do a lot of left hooks. And I kind of noticed that, when he was kicking, he was kind of throwing some lazy kicks towards the end. I think he started to get a little tired, and, it was kind of just a reflex, actually. He threw one not long before that, and then I was kind of waiting. He threw it again, and it was just like, without thinking, you throw, you react and you throw, and I hit him, and it was one of those things where it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna kill him with this one. It was just stick it out there, and it dropped him, and I just covered him and did what I could to finish it.
Awesome. I mean, it was a fantastic knockout. It was your first knockout inside the UFC's octagon as well. You must have been happy to fight, because it was your ninth knockout in total, I think, and it must have been nice to get that first one in the UFC.
Yes, it was great. It was actually my first one that, started from the feet and ended on the ground. A lot of my knockouts, I had a couple of slams. So that was the first one where it started from the feet and then went downhill and finished shortly after directly from the feet.
Awesome. And look, you're settled into Florida now a little bit more, I guess, than the first time we were speaking, and you're down in ATT. I mean, how is your progression being down in that gym? You must be fully settled in there and enjoying your time down there.
Yeah, it's been a great progression. And when you get there, you're new, but either way, you work hard, and every day is just as hard. It doesn't get any easier as far as the training goes, but you get better. As you get better, you see the progression against all the high level names that you're going against, but they're also getting better. So it's a constant uphill climb. And, when a lot of times when you actually see the difference is when it is time to fight, because, you're going with these really good people. They're getting good. You're getting good. They're getting good. And then you see your progression the most when it's time to get in the cage and actually, do the real thing. But it's been great just learning as much as I can from as many people as I can. There's so many people to look up to mimic, to idolize, from coaches to training partners. So, I couldn't be in a better place.
I mean, I could stay here for 2-3 minutes and naming all the talent down in ATT. Is there anybody in particular that you work with or someone that you would look up towards in that gym that has helped you out tremendously since you've arrived down there?
There's a lot. I train with a lot of different people, from the higher names that everyone knows, like Pedro Munoz, Kyoji Horiguchi, Adriano Moraes, Alexandre Pantoja, Marlon Moraes, all the way to people that people don't know, like Sal Guerrero, Jason Eastman, Victor Diaz, names like that people, Mauricio Gomez, names that people don't really know yet. So I get to work with the guys that are well established. And, obviously those guys have been around the block a little more than the other guys. So you learn a lot more from those guys because they have a lot more experience, but you also learn from the people that people don't know as well, because those guys are really tough and they push me as well. And, we push each other. So everybody plays their part. And, I work with everybody, a lot of people. So, it's hard to say specifically that I worked with just this person or this person. So, and that's the beauty of having such a great gym like this, is you can work with everybody, take pieces from everybody's game and build your own. Because that's what mixed martial arts is. It used to be that, I was mostly a wrestler, and that's what I did. I wrestled. But now it's like I'm becoming a wrestler and a striker, and now I'm getting my jiu-jitsu's getting there. So now I'm a complete fighter. I'm starting to get that way, and it feels good to see that progression and to know that no matter where the fight goes, I can be dangerous.
Awesome. I seen it, just to kind of stray away from Florida a little bit. You're originally from Martinsville, Virginia. You had the chance in between last fight and that fight, the next upcoming fight, to go back and visit there. Seen you put on a couple of wrestling clinics. You got to visit the team at the Virginia Tech and everything like that. What was that experience like for you? And what is involved with the wrestling clinics that you do put on when you go back home to Virginia?
It was great. It's great. It's always great to go back and see everybody. I miss everybody. I've lived in Virginia, my entire life, and this is obviously the farthest I've lived away from Virginia. So it's cool to go back, and with the wrestling camp that I did, it was cool to give back to the wrestling community, especially my community that I grew up in. But wrestling in general, it's something that it changed my life. I don't know if I would be where I am if it wasn't for wrestling. So to be able to come back to my hometown and to show everybody like what I've been able to do with wrestling, to be able to share, some techniques, and whether they want to be wrestlers or, doesn't matter where they want to be in life. There's something to be learned from the sport of wrestling, as far as like your character building and things like that, hard work. So, just coming back and being able to show like, look, this is what I did. You don't have to be a fighter. You don't have to be a wrestler, but these are the the key things that I've took from wrestling and that I've used in my life that's been helpful for me. And then to go back and, go to my old gym, Tech MMA, and see those guys, and go to Virginia Tech and see those guys again. It's really cool because this is obviously the longest I've been away from those guys as well. So it's cool. It's cool to go back and, get to see them, and they're happy for me and I'm happy for them and things they've done. So just kind of feeding off of each other and just enjoying spending time with one another and catching up.
Great. And it's kudos to you, because I know that you put on those wrestling clinics free of charge and you make it open and available to the community and to kids there. So credit to you for that. While we're on the topic, I guess, of wrestling, a guy who's been a hot topic in recent weeks is Gable Stevenson. He's been flirting with UFC, with Bellator, with everybody else. It seems that we have somewhat of an announcement this week that he seems to have signed with the WWE, and he's also going back to wrestle with Minnesota as well. I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on him as an athlete? How you think he might transform over into MMA if he eventually makes that move, Tony?
He's a phenomenal athlete. You think of anybody that it's hard for some people to comprehend how hard it is for someone to win the Olympics. I know how much I put into the sport of wrestling, and I wasn't close, to that. Mm-hmm. I worked really hard and I was able to have some success, but I know how much I put into it, but I was never able to reach that, even make it to the Olympics. So to win the Olympics is crazy. And that guy's an athlete. He's a big guy, but he moves really well. He can do a backflip. I can't even do a backflip. And he can get a lot of air doing it without bending his knees, So it's crazy to watch him compete. And the way he won the Olympics is probably the textbook, like in a movie, if you saw somebody win, like in any kind of sport, usually in games you see, it's always that last second. That's exactly how it was. The last second, cut the corner, circle, 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 never stop running his feet, scored with like, I think within the last second. That's like the picture perfect way to win the Olympics. And he's a phenomenal athlete. And obviously I think anything he chooses to put his mind to, he's going to be able to do. So, and if he transitioned into MMA, I think, obviously with the big guys, it's a little different because one punch can change everything. But if he can even get his defense to where it's great, and if he gets on top of somebody, I don't see him getting away. So he would be a great athlete. But I think with him signing to the WWE, it's like you can do the moves and not really get hurt, So, and, as a child, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be, at one point, wanted to be in the WWE. So that's cool too. And I'm sure he probably thought the same. So it's cool, him getting that opportunity and deciding to go back to wrestle at Minnesota, shows, how much he actually loves wrestling, because he could leave now, get some money, absolutely, but he enjoys the wrestling. So why not? You don't get any more chances to go back to college and compete. So he's taking advantage of all the opportunities he has in that window, and he's going to go do it. I'm sure he's going to win again, and then he's going to start his professional career.
Awesome. Who would have been your favorite wrestlers growing up as a kid in the WWE or WWF, whatever you want to call it?
It was back when it was WWF. I really liked The Rock. I liked Stone Cold, and I liked all the high flyers. Like I liked the Hardy Boys. I liked Rey Mysterio. I think those were my main ones that I really, really liked. But I was a fan of them all. I had all the wrestling men, all the little wrestling men. I had almost like 200. So I had like everybody. I had Goldust, Ultimate Warrior, Animal Hawk, like everybody, So, but those,
I had a bunch of those little miniature wrestlers as well, and I'm just thinking, I opened them all from the box and was playing with them for years. I'm just thinking right now, if I had kept them all in the box, I would have been worth big money right now. Yeah. But it was fun to play with them at the time. But that's cool to look back at those things.
Yeah, all of mine are probably broken now. Some legs broken off, like they all got all kinds of like marks on them where they're scuff marks and stuff. So
yeah,
I enjoyed them.
That's fun. Another thing that's kind of been a hot topic this week, and I'm very curious to get your opinion on it, was we seen a fight between Khalil Roundtree and Modestas Bukauskas last week, a fight which an oblique kick was landed by Khalil Roundtree. And there had been a big outcry for that particular move to be banned inside of MMA. I'm just wondering what you feel about that. Would you like a move like that to be banned, or are you happy for it to be a part of mixed martial arts?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. It's as of now, it's legal, and it's as long as it's above the knee. It's not. I guess you can't go directly into the joint. Is the move, and it was above the knee. If I think I'm right, but it's. I don't know. That's a really good question. That could be that could take some time off of somebody's career, but the same as slamming somebody. I've slammed many of people with like an armbar defense, and that could possibly do some damage as well to someone's neck. So, it's kind of hard to. I'm not really sure how I stand on that. But he did it within the rule set. It was perfect timing. It was horrible to watch. I watched the replay. He threw the jab, and Khalil threw the kick. He missed the first time. The guy jabbed, and he timed it. So the second time he jabbed, he threw it right as he was stepping in, and it folded his knee in. So I don't know. That's a good question. That's not really something I've ever really thought about. I've never used that technique before. And the closest I've been to getting hit with something like that is if maybe somebody's like on their back and I'm standing and they're kicking at your knees sometimes. Yeah. And while they're throwing up kicks, but I haven't really thought about that one. That's good. That's a good question. So I'm not really sure how I think about that one.
And that's fair. I mean, it's a difference of opinion. It's easy for me looking out in at somebody landing that. I mean, it's a nasty technique, but it was beautifully thrown. And like I just feel in the sport of mixed martial arts, when we're throwing strikes at people's head, and there's lots of brain trauma, that the oblique kicks are probably should be there too.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone has a difference of opinion, and it's easy for me when I'm not throwing the technique or taking the technique as well. But just to look ahead, Tony, ahead to your upcoming fight then this Saturday night against Nate Maness. It's a fight it was supposed to happen the last time you were supposed to fight. Maness had to pull out, and Burchak came in. So you had some time preparing for Maness in the past ahead of this upcoming camp. And did that help things out for you in preparation for this fight?
A little, but not really, because usually when I train, I don't specifically train for, a person. I train to make myself good in every area. So it doesn't matter, the body type, the style of fighter, doesn't matter what's thrown my way. I'm prepared. And the way I fight, I always think of it as, I'm not really worried about what they're going to do, because I'm going to do what I want to do first. I'm going to set the pace. I'm going to put the pressure on them, and they'll have to deal with what I'm putting on them. So, yes and no. I mean, I guess it didn't necessarily help specifically now. But I think the biggest difference, between the two opponents, or him as well, is he's longer than me. I think he's got like 5 inches of height on me, which, in the past used to be, I used to have trouble with really long people, but now that, I'm an American Top Team, I get these longer and these different types of bodies to deal with. It's not so much an issue. I know how to get in close without making myself vulnerable. I know different ways to kind of make that advantage of length no longer an advantage. And, I'm excited for the fact that I get to almost right that wrong of not being as successful against longer fighters. So now is my chance to prove to myself in a live fight that someone's length is no longer an issue.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And I mean, like, if things were to go your way in this fight and you were to get the results, I'm assuming that you're going to be looking for the finish again. Like, what threats do you see from Nate Maness that he might put forward to you in the fight when you've been looking at his tape?
He's got good distance management. He's got good long straight punches, which is good. I think that's going to be his key. His goal is to. I'm sure he's going to want to stay away from me. He's going to want to stay on the outside, and he's going to want to keep straight punches. Probably straight down the middle, keep me from getting close to him. And I'm pretty sure he probably expects me to shoot on him and things like that. So. I'm not saying I won't shoot on him. I'll do whatever, whatever is going to take for me to be successful. I can do it all now. So it doesn't matter if we stay standing. I know how to get in and where I can hit him and avoid his straight punches, knees, whatever he throws. I can take him down. And if we hit the ground, he's not very active off of his back, which isn't very good against, usually in the past hasn't been good for people that fight me, because I'm very active on top. I like to strike a lot from the top. And if somebody's going to sit there in their guard and look at me, then, I'm going to try to bounce their head off the canvas. But, it's I think that's going to be his game plan. Obviously, I'm going to have to get close, and I'm going to have to do it smart, and I'm going to have to do it without getting hit, keep my head off the center line. And, yeah, that's how the fight's going to go. I think he's going to stay on the outside. He's going to kind of run, and I'm going to be calculated with how I get in.
So does that mean you would be happy to just fight that technical fight rather than just go for broke and go for the finish? Or what result do you see this fight being?
I think for me, just the thing is being patient, knowing that finish will come, but patience. It takes patience. It takes calculated risks, things, just staying smart and focus on what I need to do to be successful. And when the opportunity presents itself, I'll take it. So, whether it's on the feet or on the ground, I'll make that opportunity happen, and then I'll capitalize on it when the time comes.
Awesome. So if things do go your way, Tony, I mean, it'll be your third win in a row inside the UFC. You have, without looking too far ahead, you've got to be looking at a couple of ranked fighters in upcoming fights if you are successful against Nate Maness. Is there anybody in the division that you're looking at right now, or are you just tunnel vision ahead of your fight on Saturday night?
Just tunnel vision. I mean, it's, one fight at a time. Every fight that's currently your most current fight is always the most important fight. So, not really looking too far ahead. Looking to, get this job done. He's a tough opponent. I never overlook anybody. So, looking to go through him, and whatever happens after, we'll get to that when it gets here. But my job, my goal is just to keep moving forward, keep winning, and eventually, that'll present itself. I'll be ranked, and I'll work. Continue to climb my way up the ladder, but one fight at a time.
The bantamweight division is arguably one of the best divisions inside the UFC right now. I mean, when you look at the landscape of that division and the rankings and everything like that, who do you feel that is the guy to beat there? I know you've got Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan up there. I mean, who do you reckon is the guy to beat, or who has potential to become champion in the next year or two?
I watch everybody, but I don't specifically watch a particular person, Mm-hmm. My ultimate goal is to be the champion. Everything I do, I want to be the best at. So, whoever's got that belt at the time that I'm going to keep climbing up. So whoever has that belt, when I get to where I'm within striking distance, is the guy to beat, So, but as of now, anybody that's across the cage from me is the guy to beat.
100%. Just before I let you go, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. In one sentence, if I was to ask you how the fight is going to go on next Saturday night against Nate Maness, how do you think it's going to go, Tony?
I think, I don't know how to put it within one sentence, but I think it's going to be a lot of pressure. It's going to be dominant, and there will be a finish. It won't last 15 minutes.
100%. Perfect. Is there anybody that you'd like to give any shout outs to, any sponsors, any teammates, any coaches? The floor is yours, Tony.
I thank everybody at American Top Team, from Richie, Dan, Conan, Primo, everybody, from the top to the bottom, everybody that helps, my coaches, Coach Bruno, Coach Bahumpa, everybody, all the coaches that help me on a daily basis. All my teammates, I work with a lot of people, and every teammate pushes me, and I appreciate all the support. My wife, she's always the one that she gets to see me when I come from the gym and I'm all tired and stuff. She gets to hear me complain about how sore I am, how tired I am. So my parents, her parents, my family, friends, everybody that has been supportive of me from start to finish. And I appreciate every bit of support. Everybody that, people that I don't even know that watch me fight, that root for me. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for the support in this platform to talk about my fights and your support. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure for me and for Sphere MMA to have you on. We like to speak to exciting fighters, entertaining fighters, and that's certainly what you are. We wish you the best of luck next Saturday night against Nate Maness at UFC Vegas 37. You can look at it on BT Sports, on ESPN Plus. Where can people find you on social media, Tony?
On Instagram and Twitter, it's Tony Gravely 135. And that'd be great. Get some more follows, some likes. Boost my social media up. Be great. I really appreciate it.
100%. Go follow that man if you're not following him already. You can follow me at O'Neill MMA. If you like what you heard here, you can go down, you can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen here. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Tony, for joining me once more. All the best in your fight next Saturday night, and I really look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, sir.